Hello, this is Dave from PC Games N, and today we're checking out the new Radeon RX 470 from Sapphire. This is the follow-up to AMD's RX 480 that we checked out previously, using the same Polaris 10 GPU, but with a slightly cut-down architecture. They've chopped out 4 compute units, which equates to about 256 fewer shaders. In real terms, that doesn't mean there's a lot of architecture being cut out. We're talking about 2,304 shaders for the RX 480 versus 2,048 for the RX 470. It's also chopped out a few texture units, but kept the same ROPS count. So architecturally, they're not that far apart. This Sapphire version is running with 4GB of GDDR5 using the same 256-bit memory bus that the RX 480 is using as well. So that means in terms of actual silicon, they should be very close in performance terms as well. So this Sapphire version is a slightly overclocked one. The reference clock for the RX 470 is stuck at 1206 MHz, whereas Sapphire have just stuck an extra 10 MHz on top of this one to make it 1216. The actual design itself is essentially the AMD reference that they've used from the RX 480, using the same blower cooler, but they've stuck a shiny lid and a backplate on the back. So in terms of the actual performance of the RX 470, it's really close to the RX 480. And even at 4K, none of our benchmarks have been reduced to a slideshow, which shows the actual benefits of the RX 470. Even at 1440p, you can make some nips and tucks to the graphics settings, and you'll get really good gaming performance too. But it's at 1080p where the RX 470 really shines. So where the RX 470 is very close to the RX 480 in terms of gaming performance, sometimes it's also close or even better than the GTX 1060 from Nvidia. So the actual performance of the RX 470 is really impressive, coming close to the RX 480 in stock speeds, and as promised by AMD, almost achieves complete parity when overclocked too. The RX 470 is even capable of delivering a bloody nose to the GTX 1060 in a few tests too. When we're looking at Doom using the Vulkan build, the RX 470 performs even better than the 1060 when that card's running either with OpenGL or Vulkan. The big issue for the RX 470 is pricing. AMD is having to walk a tightrope between the RX 470 and the RX 480 just because the performance delta is so tight. In terms of pricing, the suggested retail price for the RX 470 is about $180. This Sapphire version though is around $200 with £180 in the UK. The suggested retail price of $179 already feels kind of steep, but the overclocked cards, like the Sapphire here, are around $200, £180 respectively. And the big issue here is that you can already pre-order 4GB versions of the RX 480 in the UK today for the same price. So then, why would you pay essentially the same amount of money for a slightly overclocked but weaker GPU? It's a shame because properly priced, the RX 470 would be the go-to sub-$200 GPU. These factory overclocked cards demand just too high a price premium at its price point to be able to give them our recommendation. So that's our thoughts on the new RX 470 from AMD and Sapphire. So if you like what you see, hit subscribe and check back for more hardware videos in the future.